Hello and welcome to the Live Sports in New Mexico show. If you're first time viewing us, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to catch up and you want to see our previous episodes, go to Proview Network's subscription page on YouTube. Subscribe, see what we have to talk about 30 minutes each time. We talk about our life, we talk about our faith, we just talk about sports in general and how all those things relate and how everything kind of comes in full circle. As student athletes, as coaches, as athletic directors, whatever position you're in, something is going to come your way where your faith is going to be tested. So today we're going to kind of talk about that. My name is Chris Perez. I have a very, very special guest of mine. His name is Kendall Williams. You may have heard of him. Really good teammate of mine. We both grew up in California. And today we kind of want to give our perspective of what it means to be under authority. The Bible says in Romans 13:1, everyone must submit to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God. And those that exist are instituted by God. So we've had to do it as athletes. We've had to do it where, we have to respond to our coaches. We might not agree all the time. And times like that, I think even for coaches, when they see their players, they're not agreeing all the time, there's lack of motivation. There's stuff that they're like, man, I just don't think this coach cares enough about me. Or there's a lack of relationship. Like they don't know if they care about me off the court. Also may not agree. So just kind of talk about your relationship with your coaches you've had in the past and why was it so important to kind of create that?
Well, the more and more you play, obviously the more coaches you're going to deal with, and the stronger, I believe, the relationship your coach has to be at the higher level of competition you get, especially at the collegiate level, when a lot of the basketball is dealing with X's and O's. Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of teaching going on at that level, right. Despite the high level of talent, and maybe guys are a little older in comparison to high school, mm-hmm. where there's also a lot of coaching and teaching that needs to be done. At the professional level, there may be a bit of a divide between a coach and a player relationship, mm-hmm. just in terms of maybe the systematic way that just how that plays out, and the many games and the mm-hmm. business aspect of that, mm-hmm. is I guess what I'm trying to explain. Right. But in terms of high school, college, and younger than that, it's very important to have a good relationship with your coach, who's basically your on-court, off-court mentor during the season. Mm-hmm. If it's a college setting, it's a 24/7, 365 around mm-hmm. the clock deal. So you're really investing in him. It's not just an investment that the coach may recruit you or play you. There's an inverse investment to that, where I believe the player is going to play even stronger if they have that personal belief and personal mm-hmm. investment in their coach.
So yeah, that's what, even now as a coach, I'm thinking, I think the greatest coaches I had in high school and college is that they wanted this relationship with me. They wanted to care about me. They cared about my grades, what I was doing, and all the different things. So I think when I'm talking to the coaches, I'm saying, hey, you got to create that relationship. That way, whenever you discipline them, or whenever you correct them, then they don't feel like you're attacking them. Then they feel like, oh, you know what, this coach just wants the best for me. And so we've all kind of dealt with those good coaches, those bad coaches. And I think any coach I had, anybody I worked with, I always think about just the term I always think about is execute the game plan. Mm-hmm. Just whatever I'm told to do, just do it. I might not agree with it, but I make sure I do it. Again, I don't go against my beliefs. Now, if they tell me to go, do something that's just totally wrong, then yeah, I won't submit to that. Because, mm-hmm. Like as the verse talks about, before anybody, we submit to God first, and we submit to His authority. So I always think about executing the game plan, just whatever it is. You may not agree, but I think that's the right thing to do. And also trust in them that their rules and their guidelines are to help you, not hurt you. Coaches have those for a reason. I know we've had coaches that we both know that that's strict. Whatever we do, curfew's strict. Even our haircut was strict. Our eating was strict. The school was strict. But it was a reason to it. There was a good structure to have that. So I think the best coaches are the ones that correct and discipline you, not let you get away with this stuff. And they also care about you, and not only want you to succeed as an athlete, but also a responsible citizen. So I think they want to help you be employable. That's why I tell my kids they want you to, make sure when you get out in the real world, you're getting a job. So kind of talk about, those moments you had with certain coaches. Like, maybe you didn't agree with them, but what kind of was your thought process?
No,
during
I
those times?
completely agree with you. I think the best coaches are the coaches who are fully invested in
Right.
you, in your development, not only on the court, but especially you as young men.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we had a good coach under our time
Mm-hmm.
at UNM. And I was also fortunate enough in high school. I believe both of us were
Right.
fortunate
Oh,
enough in
yeah.
high school to have coaches that also recognized our talents, wanted to see us play at a higher level, but also recognized our personalities and our strengths and our character. With that being said, I also played a lot of AAU basketball, and that kind of parallels maybe more of a professional setting where you may have a coach who's just more into themselves, self-loathing, and you can feel that. They may know the game, they may know the X's and O's and be an intelligent person, an intelligent basketball mind, but if you don't feel that energy that the coach is invested in you and in the team fully, unconditionally, I feel like it's definitely something that can be contagious either negatively or positively for a team.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I totally agree. I think, just in general, coaches always want a better performance. So that's why, as a coach, you should have those guidelines. You should be an authority. Like, you're in a position, I know, even I tell my students as a teacher, I'm in an authority position. That's what God talks about. You have a boss, you have a coach. We all have to answer to somebody. I have a boss that I have to work to. I've always had someone I have to answer to, always someone that's going to hold me accountable. So as coaches, we have that right. We have that right to discipline and correct our student athletes. So I believe it's really, really important to create those guidelines, because if you just only worry about stuff on the court, it's not going to always work. You're always going to think, oh, man, what's wrong? We're doing the right stuff on the court, but it's that off the court that's really, really important that you got to kind of think about. How do they come on game days? Do they all wear the same thing? Do they tuck their shirts in? Do they, are they neat and clean? Are they on time? Are they missing practice? Those little details are always going to kind of hinder you on your on-court performance. And also just have a strong relationship with your student athletes. That's what we really want to make sure you have that, because it's just something that I know that even now after we're done playing, I know you could go back to your high school coach, I could go back to mine and college coaches. So, what kind of coach does that say to you about how we could hit up Coach Alford, text him really quick, and he'll help us out in a heartbeat? Why is that so important?
Well, I think you just need that sense of dependability, reliability from your coach, because even though he has someone to answer to, that's who we're answering to. That's been our boss. That's who we're accustomed to following, basically. And so even when you're done with that relationship, that player-coach relationship, you still have that bond. And that bond shouldn't be broken, in my opinion. You should be able to always reach out to your coach, vice versa. And you should get a feel for how they're doing and how their lives are doing, because I think that's the importance of basketball, of sports, is building those relationships. And so then when you are done performing together, participating in the event together, you guys still have that relationship to rely on.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff here today. Good stuff for our first day. We still got a lot more to talk about, different things, how we're going to submit to authority, and how God is really working our lives in good situations and in bad situations. So stay tuned.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all, or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, #life change will occur.
Christy May's Restaurant is locally owned and operated with a family-friendly atmosphere. Their array of homemade comfort food is just like your mom's. From homemade chicken pot pie to their famous chicken salad on a croissant, Christy May's even offers lunch catering. Christy May's Restaurant is located at 1400 San Pedro Drive, Northeast. They offer drive-in, carry-out, and catering. Open Monday through Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Terry Cosper Insurance Agency is a proud partner with Proview Networks and a proud supporter of New Mexico high school athletics. Terry's been a local farmer's agent for over 20 years for auto, home, life, and business insurance. Just like high school sports are important, So are teen drivers. For more information, call Terry or one of his licensed staff members at 898-5556. Quotes are available for you. Champion Cryotherapy is Albuquerque's leading provider of non-invasive cold therapy for weight management, pain management, beauty and wellness, and athletic recovery. Champion Cryotherapy provides a safe and natural athletic performance and recovery benefits such as faster recovery from stress of athletic performances, competitive sports, and training. Champion Cryotherapy, you could visit us, Wyoming Boulevard, just south of Paseo del Norte. That's 821 Cryo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Welcome back to the Live Sports in New Mexico show. I'm Chris Perez. I'm joined by my co-host and really good friend, Kendall Williams, and we're here to talk about just being under authority. So we're talking in the other previous segment, we talked about our relationship with our coaches and how we had to be as players, even though we didn't agree with them. We had to understand that, hey, we just got to submit to it. As long as it doesn't go against our beliefs, we just got to make sure we submit to it. But this is also something so good that I've learned is that we can't lose sight of what truly is being taught. So in school, we all have subjects to cover. As teachers, we have to cover math, science, history, all these different subjects, but we must focus on what is really being taught. And what's really being taught is the study skills, the responsibilities, the group work, and how to work with other people. So that's what we have to do as teachers, is we have to say, you know what, I have this material to teach. I could be the smartest historian, I could be the smartest scientist, but it's about how I teach the material. You know, I don't have to be the smartest historian or scientist, but if I teach it the right way, then I'm going to teach the right things that these students are going to need when they get older and when they need to get in the workplace. So like in sports, in any sport, basketball, football, tennis, whatever it is, we have to focus on what is really being taught to you. And I think just in team sports, it's really how you work together with people and how do you understand your role. When you come in as a freshman, you're not going to be starting varsity right away. You might not, it rarely happens. Same thing like if you go interview for a job, you're not going to be the CEO or the boss right away. You're going to have to work your way. So I would just, kind of want to get Kendall's thoughts here on just, what did you truly learn? You love the game of basketball, you know a lot about it, but what are the aspects you took from it that just help you in everyday life?
I think some aspects I've learned from basketball, definitely seize opportunity. That's an important one. Sometimes you don't know when opportunity is going to come, so always be prepared. Mm-hmm. I think is a great lesson that you learn. Giving it your all at all time. That's probably goes along the lines of seizing your opportunities. Mm-hmm. And positivity, energy. These are things that can stir up yourself internally. Mm-hmm. and make yourself stronger when you may not feel it. And also, it could be contagious with your teammates. Things that maybe I took for granted in high school when you're just out there and you're like, I have to be the best, mm-hmm. best. It's about basketball, it's about scoring. Right. But things, as you get a little older, you see some things, you go through some things, and you realize that you can take these lessons and these experiences that you have mm-hmm. and kind of take them off the court with you.
And one thing that's kind of popped in my head really quick is that I was one of those guys, I know you're one of those guys too, that would like to be the first one in the gym, last one to leave. And so now, even as a teacher, I try to get there even just an hour before school. And I like pulling up and seeing only my car there. No one's in the parking lot, because I just like being the first one there. And so even when I see other cars pull in, I'm like, gosh, they're beating me. It's like that competitive drive. And even I like to be the last one to leave. But it's just those things that, kind of get into us that, we could think about all the time. Is just,
well, if you love what you do, then it's going to show. I
yeah.
mean, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, a teacher, if you enjoy what you do, if you enjoy who you're around, and you believe in your message, believe in your audience, then it's going to show. Then it's going to show in your work and your preparation, and then obviously in your result. And you know that because you've always been someone. That's why you were so successful during our time, is because, and why the coaches always appreciated you, why the teammates always appreciated you, is because that you were always prepared. And regardless of the situation, if you suited up, if you didn't suit up, you always had your mind right, your body right, and people take note of that. No matter what position you're in, if you're always taking care of yourself, and while also putting the team first, and enjoying and loving what you do, then it's gonna show.
Right, and there's those people that they have that I call it the clock in, clock out mentality, where they just come in. You could tell that those people don't love what they do.
Exactly.
It's just that they come in, they're like, oh, I'll just do my job and just making money off it, and then I go home. So I just never really wanted to be that, because I know, just me and my faith. I know God's going to promote me as I go, and how He could always just take this situation that I'm in, and then I say, you know what, He's preparing me for something. Even now, I had no idea at 24 years old I was going to be an athletic director. But, just being in this position, handling certain things, I'm making mistakes, but I'm learning from them. So I know God's just really, truly preparing me for something. So that, I just think that's, something you got to think about. Whatever opportunity you get, just like what Kendall talked about, seize it. Take advantage of it. Just know that God's going to work in your life somewhere. So when you're in a position, it's because God put you there. He has you on a certain team with a certain coach. You might have a good coach, bad team, whatever it is. He's going to put you in a certain position. We all have a unique path. You look up to the left or right of you, there might be two different people right there. Do not focus on their journey. Focus on the one God has for you. If you can handle a bad coach, I think you can handle a bad boss. So that's just something that you're going to have to deal with. And then if you have a good coach, accept and embrace what they're teaching you, and you will be in a leadership position one day, and you'll be able to learn from your coaches. Again, we're having a lot of fun talking about this stuff. We have some more stuff to talk about. We're going to go back and forth with some questions. We're going to ask you some questions of what you think about when it comes to being under authority. So we'll see you in a little bit.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either He's Lord of all, or He is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know Him and follow His teachings, #life change will occur.
RC Sports Complex is a proud supporter of Proview Networks. Do you have the need for speed? Come on out to RC Sports Complex for some adrenaline-packed race action. You can bring your own vehicle, rent a ready-to-race unit, or purchase one from the great selection that we have in store. RC Sports Complex offers an addictive, technical, and fast-paced outdoor course for 10th-scale electric buggies, cars, and trucks. Visit RC Sports Complex in Rio Rancho.
The Barley Room, proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car crafters, it's like it never happened.
Get into the game. Garden Schwartz Team Sales features fine products and apparel from Wilson, Schutt Sports, Speedline, and Russell Athletics. We offer custom embroidery and screen printing services for all of your school or club needs, from team uniforms to school letter jackets. Specializing in all sports and serving all communities, from big schools to small schools, from up north to down south, or all points in between, Garden Schwartz Team Sales has the products and professional services you'll need to be your best. For great prices, friendly staff, and quality products, call Garden Schwartz Team Sales today at 1-800-880-7767. That's 1-800-880-7767. Since 1939, Garden Schwartz Team Sales is a proud supporter of New Mexico youth athletics.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Welcome back to the Live Sports in New Mexico show. I'm Chris Perez, along with my special guest, Kendall Williams, and we're here talking about what it means to be under authority. And so we kind of talk about our relationship with our coaches, what we had to deal with, what we saw in each other as teammates, and how we took what we learned and applied it to the real world. And so I kind of just want to help you validate some of these thoughts. You know, some of us are like, man, I should submit to authority. I mean, I'm my own self. I could be who I want to be. But here's just some verses from the Bible. I want to talk about Luke 12:4. And it says, "And I say to you, my friends, don't fear those who kill the body, and after that can do nothing more. But I will show you the one to fear. Fear him who has authority to throw people into hell after death. Yes, I say to you, this is the one to fear." And they're referencing God. They're saying, that's the one you have to fear. There's people you're trying to please, and you're thinking, oh, I'm afraid if they don't like me, I won't be accepted by them. But I think the biggest thing we could focus on is we got to be accepted by God. We got to understand that we have to be righteous. We have to do the right things, and we have to please him more than anybody, because this world, as you know, Kendall, this world is just, it's all over the place. There's different trends. There's different things in society where they're trying to force you to believe one way, and you know you're true to your beliefs. So as you know, as you've gone through a life of a student athlete, where are areas where it's really, it just has tested your faith, you know, tested what you've had to really dwell on and pray on and meditate on? Where are areas in your life that you had to do that?
Oh, I mean, without getting too specific, you know, all the time, all the time. I'm 25 years. Thank God for sports and athletics and basketball especially. I think it's the best sport in the world. It's going to teach you some stuff, whether it's not getting recruited by the school you want to out of high school, making an adjustment, fitting in a new place. These are things you have to learn. These are life lessons, whether not everyone's going to be a college athlete, but some people go out of state for school. You have to adjust to a new culture. You graduate college, you may not get the job you wanted right out of college. You have to make that adjustment. You have to be mentally strong. When you're in your job, you have to be mentally strong. These are things that you always have to be conscious about, that no matter what happens to you, you may not be able to control the environment or situation, but you can control yourself. And by doing so, you give yourself a better opportunity to succeed.
And yeah, we both grew up in California. We both were, you know, you were getting recruited to go to UCLA. That's my favorite team. And then all of a sudden, God says, nope, you're going to Albuquerque, New Mexico. So how was that kind of just situation for you? How was?
Well, I mean, it was just kind of bang, bang. I was committed to UCLA my entire high school life. And then when it was time to actually go there, I found out I wasn't, and was down to the wire to figure out if I was going to play college ball at all, or if it was going to be at a high level or where at. And it ended up being in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it was the best thing that happened to me. So just about every that kind of relays the message that no matter what happens to you, if you keep the faith and keep positivity, then good things can come out of what may seem at that moment maybe a dismal happening.
Yeah, so keep an eye out because Kendall's going to be here around. I know we have some other teammates that they love Albuquerque. They love, because this is a basketball town. So we're loving giving back to the community and teaching you what we learned. So if you want to get in contact with Kendall, he'll help you out. We had his social media information. Get to know him. Connect with him anyway. He could help you out. Good basketball trainer, good coach, whatever you need, he could definitely pour into your life. There's another verse I want to go over. It's Hebrews 12:9. It says, "Furthermore, we had natural fathers discipline us, and we respected them. Shouldn't we submit even more to the Father of spirits and live?" So that's something that we all have parents, we all have father figures or whoever in our life that we submit to, that we respect. So why shouldn't we respect the Father, our Father, our spiritual Father in God? So that's what it is. You're going to have a coach. You're going to have parents. You're going to have older brothers or sisters. Someone in your life is going to have to mentor you and help you grow. And so I truly believe that if we continue to meditate and pray on God's word, that we can say, you know what, even though if I'm not really seeing everything clearly, I could go back to the Bible. So that's what we wanted to do today. We just said, you are taking advice from us, but we want you guys to understand that you have to submit to authority. So at this part, now we kind of talked about it. Now we kind of want to reminisce a little bit. Let's go back. I remember, you could probably remember it more. Big. I remember the Mountain West was huge. I think it was your sophomore year. Mm-hmm. It was just a huge league, and really good ranked teams. Colorado State's ranked at this time. You're saying, you know what, this is going to be probably the biggest game of my life, and you weren't kidding. So it was that 46-point game. We got a few pictures here. Just what happened? What went through your mind?
Well, looking at these pictures, it's kind of cool. But, it's one of those things that's funny because one of the things I'm most proud about that game is what led up to it. It was that the event itself was obviously sold out. Their fans came out and really were lively about it. And something just told me that it was really going to be my night. I don't think I was shooting the ball the past few games before that particularly well. Never really was a high volume shooter or scorer for that matter at any time in my college career. But the moment called for points. I believe the flow of the game called for my performance, and that's what I'm most happy about. It's not even just the numbers, but obviously the result, what led up to it, and just the whole process behind it was really cool.
Yeah, and I remember that because I remember the stats because I thought it was so amazing. You were 16 for 19, and you had 46 points. I mean, to make that under 20 shots was amazing. And then I remember the next game, it was against San Diego State, about 5-point performance, but you had 9 assists. And again, like you talked about, you just knew what to bring to the game. So can you just kind of give advice to those, players, those student athletes out there? Just let them know, how do you feel for that? What kind of adjustments, what do you think about in those moments?
Well, that's a tough question because it's just a feel for the game, I think, more than anything, where I think really your best players should be able to adapt their games to the situation, especially in college, because they scout you. They have more time to scout you in college. There are less possessions. It's more of a possession game. So being a high volume scorer might not always benefit your team. Whereas maybe professionally in the NBA, your role is to try to score 30 points. That's going to be your role. If you're the secondary guy, then you're probably going to try to score some points and facilitate on the side. But in college, you want to have the range and the flexibility to be able to change your game. You have a hot night, go and try to score some points. If that's not what's working, if that's not what's going to win the game, then go try to get double-digit assists.
Yeah, so you heard it. Just know your role, know what you need to do, what your performance needs to be. Also, always know you're under authority somewhere. You always have to respond to it, respect people, and do what's right. We thank you. We thank Kendall for coming on, pouring into your lives, and helping you. Hopefully you took some good advice from him. Again, we'll come back next week. We'll have another subject, another guest, and continue to talk about life sports. We'll see you next week.